morning to everybody who's here with us today, attending the fourth day of our Business Central Manufacturing Exchange series. I don't know if you guys were with us during the first two webinars, but we've kind of formed this the sequence of doing it, wherein we have some of the ISVs present, and then afterwards we do a panel discussion. So that's how we're going to do it today. Once again, my name is Lawin, and I'm a business development manager here at NETRONIC. Today we're going to have the industry vertical webinar, where we will have two guests with us today. So when I say industry vertical, these are very specific solutions for specific industries, and we have Michael Bradley from Printvis. He's dialing in from the US, and we have Adri Cardol from 2Increase, and he's coming from the Netherlands. So we'll have Michael present his solution for 30 minutes, then we'll have Adri present his solution for 30 minutes, after which, to culminate the event, we'll have Martin, beer moderator, for the panel discussion. So we can we'll have a few questions, and then we'll talk about their solutions. Just a few house rules. You guys are all on mute. That's not because we don't want to hear you guys out, but that's just so we can kind of save time. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat functionality to send us any questions, and then we'll it's either we can include those questions to the panel discussion, or we can, if it's very specific questions, then we forward that to either Michael or Adri after the presentation. So without further ado, I'd like to give the floor to Michael. So Michael, I'll make you presenter right now. So feel free to share your screen. I'm going to go on mute. I see your screen.
Good. Good. You still see my screen okay?
Yeah, I see it as a not the PowerPoint itself, but like the the slide transitioning tool. So it's not like full screen PowerPoint, but
how about now?
Now it's better, yeah.
Okay. So you have a full screen that says Printvis?
Yep.
Great. Wonderful. Well, good day, everybody. My name is Michael Bradley, and I want to talk to you today about the print industry vertical, which is what Printvis, our software management system, serves. We specifically serve the print industry vertical, and we are built inside Business Central. So let's talk about the print industry. It's something that most people kind of take for granted all their lives, unless you happen to have worked in it. But everywhere you go, everywhere you look, you see products from the print industry. Sorry, I want to move something. You know, signs, packages, labels, newspapers, books, banners, you know, from the logo on your letterhead to the brand on your t-shirt, it's been printed. And almost every single print job is a unique order. It's because printing is a type of manufacturing known as discrete manufacturing. And that is where your finished products are distinct items that are easily counted or touched or seen, like what you see here. The global printing industry is worth some $898 billion. There are over 25,000 print companies in the US alone, amounting to some $90 billion in revenue. And of these, 7 out of 10 print shops employ fewer than 10 people. Now, lately, the global printing industry is driven by growth in packaging and labels rather than graphic applications, and digital, as you might imagine, more so than analog printing. In the EU, the printing sector includes about 120,000 companies, and they employ about 770,000 workers. The industry is dominated by small, family-owned companies that operate mainly in domestic markets. Now, based on available information from different regions, we estimate the global number of printing companies to be approximately 1 million. The print industry is dominated by small to medium-sized businesses, an ideal and huge market for Business Central. Historically, the largest single market for printing services has been advertising, all the newspaper inserts, magazines, and direct mail materials you've seen all your life. But now the printing industries and the processes around Industry 4.0, focusing on where ERP systems are going to play a very important role. AI, automation, integrations, they're not just fancy buzzwords, but they're on the top of mind for most managers in the print industry. Today's customers expect more connected, personalized, and intelligent services from their technology providers. In order to transform to become tech leaders and technology service providers, success relies on the ability to become data-driven and leverage cloud, AI, and automation. Although some work may be done regularly for large customers under long-term contracts, such as packaging, magazines, product catalogs, most printing is still done on a project-by-project basis, usually after a bidding process. Work may ebb and flow, and many printers keep extra presses to meet anticipated peak demands. And marketing is usually done by traditional sales force calling on potential customers. But as you know now, social media and the internet is playing a huge transformative role. Nonetheless, commercial printing is still a local business by and large. Small printers can compete effectively with large ones because the small size and high variability of most printing jobs means that few economies are achieved by having larger presses. The high degree of personal attention that most print jobs require, such as client approvals of proofs and press checks during actual printing, means that customers are going to generally prefer to use a local printer. Depending on the product, price can be secondary consideration to quality and timeliness. Some types of printing, like magazines, catalogs, large print runs, are more effectively handled by your large printers. But because the products are often too expensive to ship due to the weight, and often needed in a very short delivery time, print companies are typically spread geographically and offer a wide variety of items. Print companies generally categorize by what type of customers it serves, what types of items they print, and what equipment they use. Offset, web-fed, digital, flexo, large format. For a good understanding of the print industry, it's important to learn the many terms and different production methods involved. Here we can see the three basic processes of printing. You have your pre-press, press, and post-press. The pre-press, you have your strategic and creative phases, all the way through the proof. The press, while the smallest in this graphic here, is actually the largest and most time-consuming. And then post-press, where you have any other processes that have to be done, foil stamping, die cutting, folding, gluing, and then distribution. And here we just see a nice chart showing the different statistics of process in the EU from 2016 to 2022. And you notice in the center, flexo is the highest, and that flexo is going to be your flexible packaging. And that is why you see so many food items in particular in the plastic bags in your grocery. Now, pre-press will involve the gathering and preparation of the digital files that have been designed, and they'll include your content, all your artwork, your images, your text that needs to be printed. And most print companies have their own pre-press department in-house, and some also have their own design department. But basically, pre-press is the term used to describe all the processes that occur before printing and finishing can happen. This here is a AGFA plate maker, completely robotic. As you see, this is one of our customers in Denmark called Stibo. And I just want you to see this. It was quite remarkable to watch this. You see the plate, and beneath the blue plate there, you can see there are vacuum suckers picking up a slip sheet, and taking it over so that it's completely touch-free as it automates the stacking of the plates with individual protective slip sheets between. Very cool. Now, when it comes to printing, there are many different methods, and they're usually characterized by the machines used and the product desired. Of course, we recognize the majority of print production as ink on paper conceptually, from your small business cards to your encyclopedia. But as mentioned earlier, all sorts of items contain print, and all sorts of substrates can receive print, including plastic, fabric, and board. Printing can be summed up as the process of reproducing text and images. Offset versus digital printing. Both methods produce high quality printed materials. Each process has its advantages. Offset printing has a lengthier setup time or make-ready time, and it means a greater expense initially, but for long print runs, it becomes much more cost-effective. Now for digital, you don't need plates, and there's usually a minimal setup required. Digital printing is really ideal for short runs as well as variable data jobs where each printed piece can contain different content, such as addresses for mailers or individual names for personalized print. But there are other differences, such as sheet size, which affect whether a job is best suited for offset or digital production. And it's definitely worth noting that digital is rapidly transforming the industry, as it has been for 20 years, but sort of like with our, I like to think of it sort of our iPhone technology or cell phone, smartphone technology. The rapidity of growth in that technology is just stunning when you think about 20 years ago compared to now. Same as going for digital presses. So while offset is still the majority of printing, I won't be surprised because the quality is almost indistinguishable now between offset and digital. Digital is probably going to be at least half of it before the end of the decade. Here we see a large format digital press producing a map. On postpress, anywhere from foil stamping to book binding, folding, and gluing, there are always many processes that occur after the printing stage of production. And some printers perform post-press tasks in-house. There are also many companies which are dedicated exclusively to print finishing services, and they will work as subcontractors to print shops. Here we see folding cartons. Some common finishing processes would include, of course, cutting, where you just trim the finished items from the parent sheet, die cutting, where a steel rule die is used to score and cut the printed item into various shapes, foil stamping, where heat and pressure are used to apply metallic, usually designs to a printed piece, embossing, where designs are impressed to the paper with metal plates for a raised effect, and that's where you might see a company logo raised, or I've seen a lot of beautiful foil stamp and embossing on things like wine boxes and scotch bottles, that sort of thing. Of course, common processes like folding, you have brochures, envelopes, newspapers, pharmaceutical inserts are huge. They all undergo some type of folding as a finishing process, gluing as well. There are many types and purposes for gluing in the print industry. Tabs on a pocket folder, the bonding of plastic credit cards to a mailer. Binding, stitching from stapled pamphlets to the glued spines of books. A bindery is a good example of subcontracting. And also laminating, where thin film is adhered to the substrate with heat and pressure. Like coatings, laminate can be gloss, matte, or satin finish. And here you can see PrintViz right there on the monitor of this shop floor. Made me very proud to see that. Now, despite the many different types of companies, printing companies generally share the same pain points. They need quick, accurate estimates. They need to handle a vast number of small orders. They have to manage their subcontractors. They need accurate job costing after the fact. They need to communicate with their production equipment. And standardized descriptions of production orders, flexible planning, electronic job tickets to cope with constant last-minute changes. PrintViz will provide all of these. This is a KBA Rapida 106, I believe, from another customer in Denmark called Nariana. Quite remarkable to be on this. This is the most clean facility I've ever visited. And the one thing here, I've been told that the sound is not so shareable in these presentations, so there's no sound here, but I just wanted to say it's worth noting the sound of a print shop is just as remarkable as the aroma of inks and papers and the electricity generated by the machines as they run. Here's a plate maker. And my colleagues standing around drinking orange drink. So PrintViz, we are a Microsoft certified MIS built specifically for the print industry. We're directly built in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, which, as you all know, is the world-renowned ERP system for mid-market businesses. And for 25 years, PrintViz has been built on and powered by Microsoft Dynamics, formerly NAV. PrintViz will fulfill both the most basic and advanced needs for all tasks and processes in the administration and production of press, pre-press, and post-press. So why would a Microsoft partner want to choose the print industry vertical? Well, as I mentioned before, print is everywhere. The print industry is a massive, discrete manufacturing vertical with tens of thousands of potential customers around the world who share common needs from their technology provider. These customers want specialized expertise in an end-to-end ERP solution. Print businesses are using print management software that integrates smart algorithms to recommend layouts, minimize wastage of paper, and as a PrintViz certified partner, one would distinguish themselves from the competition positioned as a specialist, serving a clearly defined industry vertical with a mature, market-ready product that has deep functionality built on a globally proven ERP platform. So if one is willing to make the strategic effort to build on your existing competencies in Business Central, you suddenly find you're separated from the pack, insulated from the competition of more horizontal rivals. You'll enjoy lower costs and better margins while leveraging our world-class product and network with more than 25 years of experience and resources. PrintViz has a proven methodology that will allow you to easily step into the broad printing industry market with no initial investment and a clear and established implementation model, not to mention a great partner community full of helpful, experienced colleagues. The vision of PrintViz for 25 years has always remained the same. First, to develop and optimize a standard system for the graphical print industry. And when we say standard, we mean upgrades are easy. Customizations are an extension form now. So the basic system remains the same, and any special customizations required occur on the outside so that when upgrades happen, nothing changes on the base system. Secondly, we want to build and continuously improve our product in this globally proven ERP platform, and we add our deep knowledge of the graphics industry. So it's a combined and seamless product. PrintViz is built in Business Central. So when a customer buys Business Central, they buy PrintViz and vice versa. I'm sorry, actually, when they buy PrintViz, they cannot help but acquire Business Central because it's like the engine of our system. And thirdly, we've always worked to establish and nurture a global network of dedicated, highly skilled partners who can represent us at a local level for things like local tax concerns. So instead of limiting their prospects, our partners have found that pursuing the print industry vertical has accelerated results. It helps them attract and retain better talent internally and enhance their long-term value to their customers. But it's no small thing. It's an important strategic decision to enter a new vertical market. It requires one to be willing to focus efforts on becoming a print industry ERP expert. And PrintViz provides professional onboarding program for all new partners to ensure you hit the ground running and you have what you need to provide excellent service to your customers. Our methodology is simple. We build and continuously improve our product within a globally proven ERP platform, adding our deep knowledge of the print industry. We've developed and are constantly optimizing a standard system for the print, package, and label industries. And you can see here that we have a wide range of customer types, from very small to massive, We have some with hundreds of users, we have some with 2 users, and everywhere in between. And a market is basically the entire world. Once in a while, we encounter a limitation with language translations, but we have many, many language translations, so those limitations are shrinking. We have over 350 installations in 42 countries around the world currently, and these will consist of large enterprise customers with over 250 users, such as international packaging companies, medium-sized companies, such as your standard commercial print or label, Flexo, and then smaller companies, which are your old-style mom-and-pop copy shops, quick prints, or just a local sign company that you see.
Michael, I don't hear the
You
audio
don't?
coming from. No.
Okay, thank you. So App Solutions was the partner of the year, I think 2 years ago. And he's just saying that they've chosen to embrace Business Central Cloud because their customers want cloud solution and it's great for their business. To manage the demand, they have to work smart and repetitively, and they need to reuse as much as possible. And one way to do that is using PrintViz, as the most of the functionality customer in the graphical industry needs right out of the box. NAB can deliver more and faster, which is good for both the customers and NAB. I apologize that the audio didn't share there. Here's just what some of our partners are saying. With the amount of effort Microsoft is putting into educating people on the cloud environment and on small projects, small license counts, on being able to get up and running quickly, the only true vertical we saw was in printing and graphic arts or in warehouse management, and PrintViz and Business Central provide both. That's from John of Sabre Limited in Canada. PrintViz is very mature. They have deep technology for the print industry and a cloud-native solution. Jim from Yprint in the US, they have joined on to PrintViz as a partner, completely dedicated to the print industry. We're happy to be a partner of PrintViz for 10 years now, gaining and implementing projects in the German printing market with a highly integrated PrintViz solution. That's Helmut, who is retiring from CTM shortly, but he's been a long-time partner. We recently had a PrintViz client speak about their delight with the solution after implementing it nearly 9 years ago. If that isn't a testament to the success and longevity of this product, I don't know what is. Gavin of KPMG in UK. As a Microsoft certified vertical, PrintViz gives us a serious product roadmap and the opportunity to meet not only the current needs, but also future ones in a spirit of continuity and development. And that's Eustacio Anteza of Anteza Typography, and that is one of our customers, one of our partner Alterna in Italy. And I really appreciate this quote from a US customer, one of our first cloud customers in the US. He says, PrintViz is special because it can be adapted to any manufacturing process. The program does not care whether you're producing offset, digital, wide format, or apparel. In addition, the program allows complete flexibility in the bindery and fulfillment arena, which is also a crucial point because PrintViz is serving the discrete manufacturing, but it really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be paper, as I mentioned before. Substrates are substrates, and what we do is work with people who are applying ink to a substrate or an image to a substrate, such as with apparel. Now, this is a longer quote, and I'm almost done here, but I wanted to read this to you because I think this is very significant for an outlook on the marketplace. Gartner estimates that the opportunity for business applications will be 133 billion this year, with independent software vendors driving more than half of that. So we're upping our commitment to ISVs by investing in Microsoft's marketplaces, Azure Marketplace and AppSource, to build the largest commercial marketplace in the industry. Our marketplace provides a frictionless selling and buying experience that brings parity to first and third-party solutions and meets the needs of both IP builders and software purchasers. Partners with solutions in our marketplace can sell directly to more than 1 billion customers and partners, and they benefit from lower deployment costs and flexible procurement models for software. Through the marketplace go-to-market services, we've seen partners achieve an average of 40% reduction in cost per lead and a 2-time lead conversion to sales rate compared to industry averages. So that's a very powerful incentive. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I welcome them. And also, if you need to send them after the fact, that would be just fine as well. But I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Michael. I really liked the video. It gave me a better feel of the industry. So
it's amazing how many people have never set foot in a print show. So I thought that would be valuable to share.
Yeah, I've never, so that was good. Yeah, thanks, Michael. So again, if you have any questions for Michael, send them into the chat. Later on, we'll be hearing from Michael again during the panel discussion with Martin. So now, Adri, I'll make you presenter. So yeah, and if you could, you're still on mute.
Yeah.
All right, now I hear you. Now I hear you fine.
Can you also see me?
I can see your screen, yeah.
All right. So, off we go. Today I want to talk to you about Job Management Suite. That is a new kit on the block and to increase portfolio. And in this presentation, I'm going to explain to you why we think this is new. So first of all, a few words about To Increase. To Increase is leading solution developer. We are doing that for 15 years now. And our focus is on the mid-market and large enterprise company with an industry focus on equipment rental and lease, discrete manufacturing and food, both in Dynamics Finance and Operations and Business Central. So for Business Central, our product portfolio is for years looking like this, and then I'm specifically about the on-premises portfolio. So for Business Central, we have 2 main verticals. That is industrial equipment manufacturing, food manufacturing and distribution. And in between them is a supporting product engineering that's mainly supporting industrial equipment manufacturing. We market that separately because it's not depending on IAM, but can work in basically any Business Central implementation. Food manufacturing has its own quality module, so therefore product engineering is specifically supporting industrial equipment manufacturing. Besides that, we have the horizontals. There is first of all business integration solutions that allows you to make connections to anything outside of Business Central. And on top of that is BC Anywhere, which is a mobile solution. We can basically bring any process from Business Central to a mobile device, and as such, it is mainly used in the logistics and supports all the warehouse processes. So that is our starting point, and what we as a Business Central community have been facing is the move to universal code. This is a Microsoft slide, and Microsoft introduced this term last year, but for the last couple of years they have been working on the migration of the platform to a cloud-based platform, Business Central as a cloud-based platform. So to increase as an ISV, and it is not only To Increase, but all ISVs in the Business Central community are facing the challenge to move their code to universal code. Same applies to increase, and we have been working on that. So in the meantime, our portfolio has migrated to this picture, where the horizontal part and in the bottom here are already through universal code, cloud-based extensions, and so is quality management. Food and IEM, industrial equipment manufacturing, are so-called embedded apps. That means that they still consist of customized code, and when delivered, we replace the Microsoft base app with either an IEM application or a food application. But that is about to change, specifically for industrial equipment manufacturing. So what I'm introducing here is the jobs management suite, and to mark this significant change in the product, we have renamed industrial equipment manufacturing to jobs management suite. And currently we are beta testing advanced job management, which is then going to be the first installment in universal code, where we move this large application, industrial equipment manufacturing, have moved to a cloud-based extension. We are going to market that as jobs management suite basic, that is advanced job management, and later on this year we will launch also the extended version, but that then will include resource management and the advanced package that will consist of the manufacturing integration and the service integration, and that will align then with the Business Central premium licensing. So what is jobs management suite all about, and then specifically advanced job management? So this is a picture that indicates the change. On the left side, you see the to-increase demo database based on an embedded app. So all the publishers here are to-increase. Yes, we also include the NETRONIC's schedulers in our demo database, but there is only one app, actually Microsoft, and that is the system application. Now, on the right-hand side is the Microsoft demo database, which is based on universal code, and where the main party is Microsoft as the publisher, and there is only a small app here, advanced job management from to-increase, as well as the TI common. The TI common is the same TI common as it is in here. So that basically illustrates the change that we are going through from an embedded app to a universal, a cloud-based extension. Now, what problem are we trying to solve for our customers with this advanced job management, with this jobs management suite? Well, our product vision is that we want to add value to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central in the to-order style of manufacturing. And the to-order style of manufacturing we consider to be from engineer to order to project-based manufacturing. And yeah, that is basically determined by the so-called push-pull point, to where in the process does the customer have anything to say about the final state of the product. Now, since we are a fairly large application that covers a lot of the functionality, we also want to be as much as possible a one-stop shop by leveraging the Microsoft platforms. And this year specifically, we are focusing on getting things right within Dynamics 365 Business Central. But on the longer term, we would further extend that into Power BI, use Flow and other Power apps, and also extend into the 365, and obviously a cloud-based extension runs in a lot of cases on Azure. So if we look at the total value chain, where the project deliverable is sort of the central point, that is the end result of the project, that's where you want to go to, is that we add functionality in the area of sales. Also the involvement of the customer with engineering change management. We have the planning and execution side, where we plan the timeline of the project, and have later on with resource management, resource tasks for the people that are working on the project, and of course, and last but not least, into the supply chain to have a tight control on let's say the material flow within the project. So in our vision, the project, and we take that definition from the PMBOK guide, that the project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. And the temporary nature of a project indicates that a project has a definite beginning and end. So seems like open doors, but in my experience, you have to explain that every now and then. So how do we implement that? So the unique product is the deliverable, and within advanced job management, you can define a deliverable as the end result of the project, and then in the end hand it over to a service as a service object, or a group of service items as an as installed or as delivered product that becomes part of the installed base. Then it all starts with to get to that deliverable. It all starts with a budget. You need to have a plan to measure yourself against, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You don't know where you are, and that is why a budget is important. We can maintain multiple versions of the budget, so keep the flexibility of handling changes during the project. We can take these budget lines and copy them to planning lines to start your work preparation. And since we also automatically calculate a timeline from the job tasks based on these settings, like next task, number of estimated working days, the non-working days, the planning direction, etc. We can calculate a timeline for the project to lay out your budget in time, and then obviously also start registering your actuals as accurate as possible. Now, based on that process, a project manager can run at all times a forecast independent from your WIP calculations. You can run a forecast with an estimate to completion, and based on that, closely monitor how he is doing compared to his budget. So that is the main, the higher goal, or that is what we mean with creating project visibility, knowing where you are on your way to the deliverable. So these are some of the features that we implement now, and some of the features for those of you who know IAM will sound familiar, because that is an important goal. Of course, we have an installed base of around 200 IAM implementations worldwide, and we are careful about these customers, and we want to take them. Want to offer them a clear upgrade path to the cloud as well. So a lot of the functionalities from IAM have been transferred to the job management suite, so that we can also take the data along. But if you look at the budgeting, we have multiple budget versions. We have additional work breakdown structures. We can create projects from templates. We can group the costs in the job by cost types and add surcharges to that to cover your overheads and markups. We mentioned already the forecast and the job deliveries. We can create in the budgeting process job-specific versions of the production BOMs and assembly BOMs, create items on the fly, copy our budget to planning lines, and also have indicators for long lead time items that highlight if there is a long lead time involved and the ordering time is in danger. And then, of course, there is the planning. We calculate a critical path-based timeline with either serial or parallel tasks, so we can quickly determine the end date of the project. You can consume material from the planning line or deliver it from the planning line. That is specifically interesting for those companies that do installations at the job site, where they have to carefully plan the sequence of the material being delivered to the job site. Since manufacturing is the core of this business, we have flexible manufacturing methods that you can mix and match throughout the project, in job, light manufacturing based on assembly orders, or your full-featured manufacturing with production. We also have the warehouse integration. Microsoft just recently introduced the same, but then on the job level. We offer warehouse integration on the job task level and including the directed warehouse, and add transport and delivery functionality to it. Automatic reservations, where we lock in all the material orders from the job with an automatic reservation, with an order-to-order binding. In the sales and invoicing part, we offer multiple invoicing methods. Time and material, of course, which is the standard method, but also fixed price, either based on a schedule or based on milestones or based on progressive billing, or link it to deliverables, the deliverables that you are posting from the job line. We have integrated the sales and marketing functionalities from Business Central into the job, so you can go from an opportunity to a job quote, or from a sales quote to a job. And then last but not least, there is the functionality on the in the administration to provide the tools for the project manager and the administration. Is job change orders for for additional work, or combine jobs. If you have multiple jobs at the same customer, then you can combine the billing for that. Now let me switch to Business Central and show something of that. We have a little bit of a funny browser nowadays, because apparently we're struggling a little bit with the Edge and Chrome browsers. But anyway, this is Business Central running in the sandbox here. And what we have here from Business Central, we have the link to the To-Increase help site, where we have the job management suite set up with all the supporting documentation, business functionality, but also overview of the features, where you can page your way through the functionality and read those descriptions. We've also added assisted setups. So from the assisted setup, we can help users to set up jobs management suite and jump from here. Fortunately, it reads it by object number, so we have to renumber some objects to make this show up in a nicer sequence than this is. But this helps the user to find out where do I have to do my setups. So if I jump to a job card, then click on the right place. Then this is the job card, and with show more you can show all the additional fields, but also in here a page tour. So if we retake the tour, we can go past some highlights. This is also new in version 20 for jobs, is that we now have a sell to customer and a bill to customer. But besides that, you can add multiple customers to a job to do percentage-wise billing, or bill from the job task, bill each job task to a separate customer. So another feature here is the budget. I already mentioned that in the first page. This is the actual budget, but I can make multiple budget versions, and obviously in here it indicates what is the active budget, because obviously only one budget can be active. Same thing with forecast. A forecast is calculated on a budget, and then pulls in the actuals and compares these lines and calculates an estimate to completion. So actual plus estimate to completion is the forecast for that job. Another feature are the surcharges. So to work on a cost plus method, if you don't want to price all your items, then you can set up a cost plus method where you automatically apply a percentage to cover your overheads and markups on it. So create from job only to tightly control the supply from the job to make sure that material is applied to the correct job. Standard Business Central allows you to create a purchase order and select the job number and post it. But a lot of project managers do not like that and rather have more control on that. So from here we go to the breakdown of the job. These are the job tasks. They are set up. I'll come back to them in a minute after we finish that tour. In here are the invoicing method. As I mentioned, we have time and material, fixed price, and the deliverable. These are the different invoicing methods. And in here you can see that this is set to fixed price, and here we have selected milestone, and this is then the contract amount that is set up for this job. And then that 20,000 is distributed over the task that I have defined as a milestone. Now, I said we can also ship from a job to make deliveries, and it even has the option to cross-dock material that's delivered from an external supplier. Can be delivered to a specific cross-dock bin code, so it can be shipped to the right installation site for the job. You can schedule either forward or backward. Forward from a starting date as soon as possible, or backwards from an ending date just in time. Those are the scheduling methods. And last but not least, here are the features. We call them features, but they are in fact user-defined fields. You can define up to 20 of them to have either a predefined list that you can copy from one of the Business Central tables, or just as a free text field. So no need to customize additional fields. So we got it so far now, and then from the task list, you note here that the budget lines are already showing an amount, and that is because in the template, we use a template to create a job. I can predefine budget lines, and then at the moment that I create a job, I already have a first indication of what the total cost and prices are in the budget. From this line, I can go to a detailed job task list, and that gives me more information. In here, I can set the next tasks, and if I would like to define a parallel task, I can do it like this. And now task number 101 is followed by 102 and 301. The additional work breakdown structures job element. So we can group the cost on these tasks per element. So the main element here is the base for this network. And there you have another work breakdown structure, which is the activities. So you can also group the cost and price per activity. Now, on these tasks, yeah, instead of what the standard does, we define 3 types of lines where you can have budget lines, planning lines, and the billable lines. So the billable lines in this case, remember I had set up this job as milestones. So on here you see the billable line that 20,000 has been distributed. That if I reach this milestone, I'm allowed to invoice 6,000 out of the 20,000 that I have as a contract for this job. That is how that is set up. So what a milestone further does is it locks in this date. So even if the date changes here, because the number of days changes, then the milestones are only updated manually. So on the some functionality on the budget lines. On the budget lines is that we can either break down an assembly BOM in components to quickly populate a set of lines. I can on here create a job-specific assembly BOM, modify it, and create my assembly order based on that modified BOM, and do the same thing on a production BOM and routing, and create a job-specific version of that bill of material and routing, and that is also then marked as such. And when doing that, I will have a project unit cost instead of a unit cost. So that is a quick overview of the functionalities that we are providing here as a true cloud-based extension. And back to my PowerPoint. This is the PowerPoint about questions. As I said, we are in the process of beta testing together with a number of our partners. And we hope that in the next few months we will have advanced job management on AppSource, and by the end of the year have the complete suite ready. So this concludes my presentation. Questions can be addressed to me or in the panel discussions. For the rest, I would like to say thank you for listening to me and giving me this opportunity to show this story. Back to you, Win.
Thank you, Adri. Let me just switch over to make me as the presenter. Yeah, so with Adri's presentation, again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to write something on the chat. If not, then I'd like to go to our panel discussion, as I mentioned earlier. So we have Michael and Adri, and also we'll be joined by Martin, who will be the moderator for the panel discussion. So Martin, Michael, if you could unmute yourselves.
Perfect. Yeah. So first, Adri and Michael, thank you very much for taking us through the industries that you serve and also the solutions that you have. So again, as Narvin said, if any one of you has a specific question on one of the solutions that you saw, then post it in the chat pane here, and then we will also get you in contact after the event with either Adri or Michael. As we now saw two very different type of solution for different type of industry, I think I will not go into any specifics of either the industrial equipment manufacturing industry or the print industry, but I also recognize that we have actually the majority of our participants are from the our partners as well. And so now we saw two different ISV solutions, and hence I thought we can have a bit of a discussion on actually how you take your solutions to market and how your partner programs are and what you as ISVs face challenges, what you expect from your partners and things like this, because I definitely have some experience to share there, but as we just sell a very, let's say, narrow solution to an existing ERP, and you have built, I would say, an entire ERP for an entire industry based on Business Central, there are some differences between what we do as NETRONIC and what you guys do, and as most of the people on the call are here as being invited from us, I think it can be quite interesting for them to hear how to partner with you guys, how your program works, what you expect from your partners, and so on and so forth. And so I will just ask a couple of questions, and then whoever wants to answer first just starts talking, and then the other one then can add his view afterwards, if this is fine for you. So first of all, actually, I would like to ask both of you, how to partner with PrintViz, how to partner with To Increase, and what is the process for somebody on this meeting now, or for somebody listening to this panel discussion. What should they do to get in contact with you, and what must they do to become either a PrintViz or a To Increase partner?
Well, I'll take that. It's quite easy to become a PrintViz partner, and generally we find that what happens is a Microsoft partner, a Microsoft Business Central certified reseller will find themselves with a print lead somewhere in their area, and they know that we're the only print-related solution built on Business Central, so they'll reach out to us, and so they can decide to pursue the vertical long term. It's not a small decision to make, but it's a smart decision if you can commit. We have a partner manager and a whole series of training sessions, both online and in person, and a certification process if somebody decides to go full throttle with it. It doesn't cost anything initially, and we work in tandem with partners on the license side of things, so that basically the end customer will be their sole responsibility. The end customer pays them and they pay us, and it's really quite that simple. The main thing is they need to be willing to learn the industry, which includes, that's why I focus so much on the industry itself and the terminology and that sort of thing, rather than just showing our solution, because a lot of people aren't really that aware of what goes into printing. But printing is all around the world, and while it's undergoing a lot of transformation with the digital, it's still a thriving industry with a large amount of companies and a large amount of different products. So it's easy to become a PrintViz partner, and it's definitely a worthwhile thing. And I will put a link in the chat to the page on our website that is basically how to become a partner.
Okay, very good.
Over to you, Dr.
Yeah, we will also use these links in our follow-up communication to this. So Adri, how is it with you guys?
Well, very comparable, just a different type of industry, but To Increase also has partner programs, and we support our partners in pre-sales and trainings and that type of stuff. Same as with PrintViz, we do expect partners to build up, let's say, like a knowledge center, so they can provide the first line of support to their customers. And on the application, as I mentioned, IAM and Job Management Suite is a fairly broad application with the possibility for various implementation scenarios. So it does require experience to properly implement it. But I mean, what we usually do is we assist our partners with their first implementations, and they learn on the job. So same thing, contact us, our partner manager, Ronaldo, who has been presented in one of your first sessions. We'll gladly go into the discussion with you.
So you just talked about implementation, Adrian. You said that you're helping your partners with the first implementation, but this also kind of implies that when it comes to repeat implementations, that you like expect the partners to take over. So in the end, you prefer working with partners who take a more or less 360-degree responsibility on your solution, so that they also take over training the customer and implementing the product and, let's say, customizing it or individualizing it for them, adapting it to their processes. So is this right? So that in the end, you really want to facilitate them, but then they take over like the ownership of the full project.
Yeah, in the end, it is always the partner's customer. So in our view, it means that the partner is responsible for their customer and indeed for the implementation. And we do support them on the specifics of IAM in that case, and help them in that area. And we as said, usually that is more intense in the first implementations, but if they build their own experience, then partners take over and take care of it.
Same with you, Mike?
It's very much the same. Yeah, very much the same, of course. Yeah, some of our partners have been with us for 10, 15, 20 years, and they handle everything themselves. The newer partners usually require some hand-holding, and that's fine as well. We want to make everyone as competent as possible, and it's a gradual process, of course. So it depends on the resources, actually. I think that is the greatest challenge that we have found when it comes to our partner network, is they're usually scarce on resources. And so we have worked to network our partners to help each other when a certain partner, for instance, in Portugal, our partners, Archiconsult, have extra resources. They have offered to hire out for a partner in North America or Canada who might be a little bit in the weeds, as they say, on a certain implementation. But of course, we always work hand in hand with partners whenever they need it, and we have online support 24/7.
So that's pretty interesting thought that you just brought up, is that you have like that within the network of partners, and I would assume some of them would compete if they're in the same region, but then you also look for complementary skills, or that some partners can take over remote installation implementation from another place, I would assume, if they are in a non-competitive situation. Is this what you're just mentioning with, for example, the Portuguese doing some help with US projects?
Perfectly exact. Yes. We have a partner in Poland who's been helping in a US implementation. So thank goodness for the internet in that respect. It's made that so possible. It doesn't matter where you are, but generally, yes, especially in the origins of PrintViz and our partner network, it was a local thing, so that somebody could go on site. That usually is required with a print company. They want to meet their software implementers in person. So we go on site, and initially in most implementations, we're working in tandem with partners on site until our part is done. And generally the partners handle all of the business central aspects of things. And our more experienced partners in the print industry can handle it without even asking us. So sometimes we don't even know when a customer has gone live. We have a great partner called Rainbow Solutions in the Netherlands, who is doing great and is so competent in PrintViz that they don't really require our help very often at all. So there's quite a range, and just like Adri was saying, it depends on the experience of the partner.
So Adri, is there something that you have also experienced with, that one partner helping the other, or are they more or less, in your case, doing their own thing like they do with our product? So I find the thought of working against the resource shortage we have in the channel by having partners who do not compete with each other, helping each other. I find this quite interesting, actually. How is it with you? Have you seen this?
No, not in our partner network. I mean, I must also say we have not been promoting it, so no. I agree with you. It's quite an interesting thought. Because I mean, it is a challenge in the partner network, and the same applies to I think the ISVs, to hang on to your experienced consultants and experienced people. That is a big challenge often, because then an experienced partner might request our help after one of their experienced consultants leaves again, and we have to train and retrain and a new consultant. So anyway,
but then when you start, let's say, finding a new partner, and this is again a question to both of you, and let's start with Adri. So if you find a new partner, what is there a typical pattern? So is this typically somebody who already knows the industry, so somebody coming from the IEM industry or the print industry, and then looking for an ERP system or an end-to-end business solution helping these customers that they already work for? Or is it the other way around, that typically the partners that approach you and that you start working with, that they already are business central experts, they know the ERP system, they know the solution, and now they recognize that they have a market chance in a specific vertical, so either the print industry or the IEM industry, and then they look for the fitting product. So how is it in your cases?
Well, there's not really a common scenario. I think that the one we see most is that a partner runs into an interesting proposition or an interesting lead, and then finds IEM and builds it out from there. We've also seen in the past that partners say, I want to focus on a vertical, and I think that this is a good way of doing that. What we are lately seeing, because what we also have IEM on AppSource as an embedded app, is that we have more customers coming direct to us first, and then since we work through partners, is that we then together with them find a matching partner. So I would say that that is a development from the last couple of years, that we see more and more customers coming direct to us based on their own internet research. But I think that still the most common one is the partner who runs into a lead, and for that customer is searching for a proper, let's say, vertical to avoid customization, and then comes to us, and we take it from there. So there are various scenarios.
Yeah, and it's similar for PrintViz in that we are seeing a lot more people reaching out to us directly. We're also on AppSource. And so I host a weekly demo as well. So we're trying to pull in leads directly, but we will then distribute them to existing partners, again, generally based on where that lead is coming from. But I will try to familiarize the prospect with the product and basically warm them up and to get them before I connect them with a partner, so that there's already a relationship established there. And your prior question about people from the industry, we actually have quite a few people who are partners now who used to be in the print industry. So what happens there quite often is an existing Business Central reseller, if they choose to pursue the print vertical and be a reseller for PrintViz, they will have a team on their existing staff dedicated solely to PrintViz. We have a few partners where the entire company is dedicated to PrintViz, but most of them do other things for Business Central, and then they'll have a dedicated staff who have to learn the print industry and PrintViz as a product as well. and how to implement it. But yeah, it's imperative to have industry knowledge, print industry knowledge, to be able to implement PrintViz, and it's a little bit of a commitment, but it's worth it, and it's not that hard. It's just like learning a new career, basically.
And then once you have them as partners, or once you have customers, what kind of options do you give your partners and your customers to have an influence on your roadmap? So what are your, let's say, release cycles, release policies, and how can partners and customers contribute to this?
Good question. Generally, that comes through our support portal. So we have, we'll give a support ticket an idea status. So whenever we have good ideas, we of course always welcome them. And they'll usually come in from a challenge that a partner has experienced during an implementation, where they say this customer really wants PrintViz to do this, and it doesn't currently, and we have to evaluate internally whether that's something to add to the next release. And if it's doable and we see that it's viable across the product, basically, again, we try to keep it a standard product as opposed to an individual customization. You know, that's where we just have to use our judgments internally as a company. And we release generally twice a year. We try to follow the Business Central roadmap, so that with each release, we have a new feature, 2, 3, 4, 5, generally, some more than others. It depends. With a recent switch over to AL language, that was a huge change for us, and so we weren't able to add a lot of new features. We were too busy saving the base product,
Yeah.
reconditioning it, repurposing the whole thing. So it will depend, but yes, we always welcome new ideas, and we're always looking at, you know, to continually improve and develop along with the print industry, which is also under rather continuous change and evolution. So as new machines, for instance, develop, something I didn't get to in my presentation was 3D printing. You know, that's also a type of printing, but it's quite different. As I'm sure you've seen, we're not talking about paper, but we are talking about kind of an extrusion process. And the idea still is discrete manufacturing. So that's something that we're looking into. Also, the use of AI from the technical side. We're constantly trying to improve the product, basically. But we also want to keep it standard and reliable for the consistencies of the print industry, which there's so many commonalities, you know, things that will never change. Basically, if you're still talking about putting ink on paper and creating something to read, or a package, that sort of thing, that's not going to change as long as we're in a 3-dimensional universe.
Yeah.
I can get esoteric on you.
So, Adri, how is it with To Increase? How can your partners and customers influence or contribute to what you're doing?
Yeah, again, a similar type of process. A lot of input is usually coming through during implementation phases, where requests are brought forward, and then we consider these change requests as, do we want to add this to the product? Yes, then we'll enter it in one of the next releases. If the customer wants it now, we also have a collaborative development program where we, for a specific reduced rate, create that functionality and make it available on a shorter notice. If we don't accept the change request, then it usually ends up as a partner customization. Yeah, we also follow the major releases, and in the last few years we have set up ourselves to get into the monthly update cycle. And since we have to be ready when we go live with the job management suite as an extension, then that is a requirement that you follow the monthly update. So, in my opinion, that is one of the big changes that is going on in the partner channel, where we used to come from a 5-year update cycle now to almost a monthly refresh. So I think that is still one of the big challenges that that the partner channel in Business Central has to get used to and find ways to properly handle that.
Yeah, I totally agree that this is still new, and then we see how Microsoft wants us to play this, and then I just had it earlier this week that I was talking to a customer of ours who now does the migration from version 5 to Business Central, so which is a re-implementation. But I mean, to me, this somehow characterizes what we still have in the marketplace and where Microsoft wants all of us to go to, which is challenging not only for you, but also for us, and I think also for some of the partners. So I actually asked all the questions that I wanted to ask to after we saw your demos and introduction. I wanted to ask these questions so that people who are here with us today and who will watch the recording later or listen to the recording later, that they get not only an understanding of what you do, but also how you do. And I think you perfectly made it clear how people can partner with Printviz and to increase how customers can, or how leads can become customers. So that was all very, very clear and straightforward. So Michael and Adri, I would like to thank you for participating in this Business Central Manufacturing Exchange event format that we launched now the last 2 weeks. It was interesting to see your products, your presentation, and it was also interesting to chat with you and see and learn how you are doing it from your answers. I got some new ideas for our business, and I hope that some of the partners who were and customers who saw the demos and listened to this will reach out to you to further engage with you on print or IM opportunities. And with this, thanks for today, and take care. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Levin.
Thank you, Andy, Michael, and every.
The link that I put for becoming a partner says to organizers and panelists only, so I didn't know if any of the listeners could access that link.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's something that you're able to do.
Yeah, we will take the link, and we will write a follow-up blog next week or the week afterwards, and also turn the panel discussion into a podcast. So we will make sure that we share the link with every follow-up communication that we do. And Adri, if you have a link to the To Increase partner program, then just send it to Lavin or to myself, and then we will include it there as well.
Yeah, we'll talk to Ronaldo and
okay,
that you get the right.
Yeah, very good. Then
thank
you very much for having us.
Thanks a lot, and good luck.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.